What's up? So, pretty recently, I got a request from a viewer to do a tutorial for 505. He wanted to play it really badly, so here I am making that tutorial. I'm in my dorm room now, which is pretty cool. I've got an E-drum kit, also cool. I'm using a condenser to record this, so this might sound a little bit weird because you'll hear the sound of me hitting these physical pads as opposed to the sound of a drum. Well, you're going to hear the sound of a drum too, but you're going to hear both at the same time, so it's going to be a little weird. If you guys have any suggestions for how I can make the sound more professional and all that in the future, give me a suggestion. But anyways, I don't want to waste your time, so I'm going to get right into it. So, first part of the song, right when the drums kick in, the easiest way to learn this is to start with the not hi-hat pattern, but sort of quarter note pattern that he holds. He just plays it on the rim of a drum. This can be played on the rim of the snare, or the rim of the tom, or for me, if I'm playing with a real drum kit, sometimes I'll even just tap the top of the bass drum. But for this E-drum kit, it sounds best if I just kind of tap the snare. So you're going to hold quarter notes on the rim of your snare. So you're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and easy. Now, the kick drum, you're going to play on the 1, the 2, and the 4 of that, skipping the 3 entirely. I feel like, for me, playing that was always a little bit tricky when I was first starting out, because I had to count these groups of 3 without counting to 3, which was so odd. So I feel like for me, mentally, I find it easier to just count a group of 2 and then groups of 3, because that's essentially what you're playing. You're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But again, instead, you can count it like this: 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I find that to be much easier. Now up to speed, that's going to sound something like this. Now, next thing you can add in is the tambourine. I don't have a tambourine, so instead of playing a tambourine, I'm going to use my hi-hat. And that's going to be played on every other measure on the 3 of that measure. Nice and slow, again, it's going to sound something like this. Now, nice and fast. Once you get that part down, we can move to the next section of the song. In this part, instead of playing the hi-hat on every other beat, you're going to play the snare, and it's going to be on every single measure on the 3. So, again, nice and slow, it's going to sound something like this. Again, same exact pattern on the kick drum and the rim. It's just that you're playing that snare on every 3. Nice and easy. In the studio version, every other measure, he plays the snare and the tambourine at the same time. I'm pretty sure he's just overdubbing that. He didn't do it live in the studio, but it doesn't really matter. You can capture the essence of the song and hold the beat and have your band keep time with you just by doing what I said. And that's really all that matters. You're a drummer at the end of the day. If you can keep time and you're keeping time in 4/4, no one's gonna care. So once you get that part down, he actually kind of brings the song down a little bit in terms of energy, and he's gonna go back to that same exact beat that we were playing in the first part, where you're playing the hi-hat on every other measure on the 3. Once you're done, and you're able to play the snare on every other 3, we're going to be able to go into the next beat. He brings the energy up a little bit. Instead of playing on the rim and playing the snare and the kick drum, instead, he's going to take his hand and he's going to go from the rim to the hi-hat for the quarter notes. Crazy stuff. I think this is actually one of the hardest parts of the song for a beginner drummer. just because you have to do this really quick transition, because he goes immediately from keeping quarters here to keeping quarters here. So it's gonna sound a little something like this, because you literally just go from playing the rim to playing the hi-hat instantly. And I feel like that transition is really difficult, but anyways. Yeah. So you do that, and you're gonna keep that same exact beat. Again, same pattern on the kick drum, same pattern on the snare, same pattern on the hi-hat. You're just bringing it from the rim to the hi-hat. And then afterwards, there's a part where he brings the energy down quite a bit. And the way he does that is by going back to that beat that we played in the first part. If you remember that, where we're playing the hi-hat on every other measure on the 3. So he keeps doing that until Alex Turner goes, I can't sing at all. I also don't know the lyrics to the song. I also just took a second to listen to the song again to make sure I was telling you the right information. Anyways, then there's a measure of rest. So you can count in your head 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he brings that same beat that you were just doing on the hi-hat, earlier on the hi-hat, snare, and kick drum, and he takes it to the ride cymbal. So you're gonna hear, na na na, and then he just explodes and goes. While you're doing this, you could even toss in like some hits on the cymbals. For instance, one of the things that I'll do sometimes is I'll basically just hit the cymbal on the 3 when I'm hitting the snare. I'm not getting good cymbal hits right now because there's a mic in front of me and the bar is kind of preventing me from doing things. It's really annoying, but hopefully you get the idea. And you pretty much just do that till the end of the song. Towards the end, he does switch his hand from the hi-hat to from the ride cymbal to the hi-hat, but really, that's about it. This song's incredibly simple. He basically keeps the entire beat throughout the entire thing, which is why, for me personally, it's really boring, and why I encourage a lot of you to just add accents, add fills where you can, go off and learn some cool 4/4 fills. I can't teach you them that well, but there are tons of resources out there on YouTube that can teach you these fills and techniques and stuff a lot better than I can. And yeah, that's really about it. It's that simple of a song. Anyways, till next time, as they say. I'm still getting used to these tutorials, man. It's awkward and weird making them and looking at a camera and talking.